This is a relentless game, turning life's chaos into power. This is a relentless game, I've been out grinding 10,000 hours. This is a relentless game, always put my faith inside of God that won't ever stop. Turning life's chaos into power. This is a relentless game.
The relentless game, turning life's chaos into power. Got Coach Christian here, Seth Humphrey. We're going to talk about today why you're not happy and the biggest issues and the biggest problems we see with individuals and that we work with in their, and we kind of talked a little bit about it on our last podcast, just a little bit ago, but of why you're not happy. And so many people I talk to are leaning solely on their feelings. So I brought it up in a podcast earlier that we did for the Vitality Meal, and this past couple days there was a guy in my DMs that he had been dealing with. He just got diagnosed with MS. His girlfriend took off with another guy. He's doing certifications right now for his career, and he mentioned that, and he's also a parent as well. And he mentioned, he said, I feel like I'm drowning. And I just gave him a different perspective of, dude, you're showing up for your kids. Not only that, but you're still growing in your career and taking action on the certifications that you need to take. And regardless of the problems that are being thrown at you, you're still making progress. But the problem here is his leaning on his feelings first. See, if we look at the facts are you can continue to show up as a father. You continue to show up in your career. You continue to show up regardless of your health, regardless of your girlfriend making a decision and leaving. All that, you continue to show up. You can be empowered by that, or on the other side of that, you can be in your feelings and feel a certain way about it. He shot me back a text message. He's like, all about perspective. You're 100% correct. And then my job there was done, and let him on his own. But here's the biggest thing that inside the Guerrilla Alliance of the things that we do, and reason why we do a lot of the things we do is the gamification side of it, is to see a score, to see progress. Majority of men I talk to, they see progress, or they track progress when it goes to their bank account, and they track progress when it goes to their weight. And, a lot of guys I talk to, they don't weigh because they don't want to know how much they weigh. And then don't want to look at the bank account because they don't want to see how much money's in the bank account. And so that's really the only two ways that the majority of men know if they're winning or not. And if those are the only factors you have to dictate whether you're winning, then you're going to always be focused on the lack of what you don't have. You're going to be in scarcity mode of not having enough, and then wonder why you're not happy. And so that's really just the pit side of things right now. Just kind of lean on that, is like, what do you see with individuals we've worked with and things like that? Just the things that they are not focused on instead of the things they need to be focused on, and kind of go from there.
Yeah, I think, man, I'm just seeing examples of it with guys that we've worked with in the Guerrilla Alliance, guys that let the overwhelm of life cause them to isolate. And then once they isolate, like, dude, it's a wrap. Like, Satan's got you. He's got you in a chokehold. The evil's got you in a chokehold, because our mind can be a great thing, but it can also be a very bad thing too. And so if you don't have other guys that you're chasing success with, if you don't have other people around you that are going to hold you accountable, if it's just all in your head, it's a dark, dark place. And so I've seen guys that are, struggling with their marriage, struggling with addiction, and just struggling with their weight. And they stop playing the game, and then they isolate and they try to go do it on their own. But then I've also seen guys like, Kimberlin, what he's going through with his divorce. Like, yes, we see so much potential in this guy. And we're like, bro, if you would just buy in. But I got to give him credit. He continues to hop on calls. He's not on every call, but he hops on calls. He continues to invest into himself. There's little areas where we see improvement, but he continues to show up. And so, yeah, he might not be playing the game to the fullest, but he's still there. He's still showing up. He's still playing pieces of the game. And so, a guy that's going through the stuff that he was, man, I think that we keep him grounded in a lot of ways. We have conversations with him weekly, and those are the things that are allowing him to have the skill sets to still battle a lot of the stuff that stuff that he's not in control of. His ex is a crazy lady, and so, but he's still able to show up and still have a brotherhood to be able to get through that, and he hasn't isolated 100%. And so I see the difference of him and the results that because his body still looks good. He's still doing a lot of things, but and it's exciting because we know that, hey, bro, if you're still able to do this with the minimal stuff that you've been doing right now, like once you get this past you and you start to buy into and play the game to the fullest, like, man, the sky's the limit for him. But then I've also seen guys that are struggling with similar things, and then they stop playing the game and they start to isolate. And then, we still follow them on Facebook or whatever the case may be. You see where their results start to head and they start to lose control of their body. They start to lose control of the decisions that they make on a daily basis. And so now I think it's just continuing to not isolate and to have a brotherhood and to continue to invest into yourself to go.
Yeah, you see it with, like you said, with Kimberlin. It's like he's got guys that are going ahead and that are climbing that peak. And it might be right now, it's like it would be a peak to him to get through these things and be able to still be sane and still able to have a business that's thriving, still have a body that's thriving, still have a relationship with his kids that's thriving, still have a relationship with God that's thriving. And still, just because just one piece isn't working, and just because he's not showing up to, and that's what I see. I know that like this is just a part of it, and then one day it's going to be done with, and he's going to be set up to win on a whole nother level because he didn't just quit. That's why I have to give him credit for it, just not quitting. But then you see this week, it's like, I called him out on, he said that he's going to do something. And I called him and said, don't talk it, like walk it. I've heard you talk it. I want to see you walk it. And then he followed through with that. And then he's a couple stacks in this week, I've noticed. And then he's asking when the call is this week. And so, it's having something like that part of it is that progressing of just seeing like, hey, regardless of this stuff that's thrown at me, that's why I talked about identity wise. I'm just if you don't know your identity, that's what I was talking about the other day with on a reel, is like, if you don't know your identity, if I can't ask you who you are and what you stand for, then there's no, that's why you're losing, like, cause you have nothing to build a foundation on. And so, when somebody asks me who I am, I'm the guy who shows up regardless of his mood, regardless of his feelings, regardless of his emotion. I'm going to show up and I'm going to do the work and I'm going to do what I said I was going to do. That right there, it doesn't matter what happens to me on a daily basis, because what I said was I show up regardless of mood, regardless of feelings, regardless of emotion, regardless of the problems, regardless of the struggles, regardless of the issues. I'm just going to show up and do what I said I was going to do and commit. And when you do that, everything else starts to change. Now, the peak side of it, is having a way of being able to gamify your life, gamify your morning routine, so that you can see that you're a score, so you can see that you're investing in that, gamifying your work so that you can see that you're making progress, even when the bank account might not be showing all the money that you want to see in there, but you can see that, hey, I'm making progress on this, making progress on your body, making progress in your relationship with God, making progress in your relationship with your wife or your kids and your career and your business. This is what we've done inside of the Guerrilla Alliance. Is we have a gamified system across the board that we have something to wake up to. We have something that inspires us and keeps us dialed in. And it's not just winging it and going like, I feel like. It's like, no, the facts are, we know that we've got a scoring system. We know that we're making progress, and then we're investing in these areas. And we know that we're seeing growth because we have a way of being able to track that growth as well. Not just not just numbers wise, but all the way across the board with something that we said we were going to do and then following through with it, whether it be like, Jake with this book that he's writing, or you with, when I think about last year, you, and then this year too, with you and saying, hey, I'm going to make it to this Worlds. And all of us going like, at that time, like when you probably said that, it's like, I don't know if I really can make it, but I'm going to do everything that I can. I'm going to train for it. I'm going to put the work in. I'm going to watch my nutrition. I'm going to do all the things I need to do. And then as we start to climb up that peak, you make it. And now you're going to be there this year too. I'm guarantee it, just because now it's like, now it's a knowing of that you can do it. You know what I mean?
The thing with that, like my original impossible target was, hey, I just want to place first overall at a big event. And then I did that and I was like,
I can do this all the time.
Dude, I qualified for Worlds. Like, what's that mean? And so then like, yeah, I had a target set, but it ended up taking me to another level that I didn't even know was possible. And so, yeah, man, it's just back to tracking our data, man. We give ourselves purpose. Like whenever we do that, each day has a purpose. So you go through like, man, I couldn't imagine. I would probably snooze my alarm so much if I didn't have, hey, this is what I need to get done today. It's like, because you got to give yourself a reason to rise. If you don't have a reason to get up and do things in the morning, if you don't have structure with your morning routine, if you don't have your meals start to plan out for the day, if you don't know, hey, these are the things I need to get done in my business. This is the things I need to get done with my relationship with my wife. Like those are the things that give me purpose that I need to get done every day. And I know that there's little things that I need to do throughout the course of the day to weaponize me to be able to be that man for my wife, for my family, and for my clients here at the Vitality Mill. And so, man, it just gives you so much purpose. And that's why it starts to become so fun to gamify it in that way. And I look forward to it every week, Sunday, just being able to sit down and go, all right, well, this is what I've accomplished this week. Here's my score. What am I going to do next week? Like, how am I going to continue to get better? But when you see that growth and you see the areas that you're starting to get better and better, it just makes you want more and more. And it makes life a lot more fun, and you're focused on a lot more positive things in life, opposed to where's the resistance in my life.
Yeah, that's the gorilla method. That's the pathway. Is morning routine. We get 4 points. I got to do these. I get half a point for each task that's laid out. There's 8 tasks. That's 4 points. I get these 4 points done. We have a weekly basis. We have 21 points when it comes to our business and our career and our goals and targets there. So now we have 28 points total for our core. We've got 21 points total for the game that we play in our door. And so now we start to, we get 7 points for every stack that we do, for every point, for every stack. So that's 7 points there. And now am I on target with my monthly focus of the things I said I need to get done this month? That's going to lead to my yearly targets. Get 4 points there. And then when you look at it from the back, then it's like, oh, I got 60 points total. But then you have other guys that are playing this game as well. And we have a scoreboard so we can see that, like, oh, well, I don't want to be that guy that's at the bottom, and I don't want to be that guy that's in third or second or whatever. I want to be the top of the top. I want to lead. And so do we have a scoring system across the board and everything that we do that says, hey, this is progress, and that you're doing the things and following through with what you said you're going to do. And this is the lesson that you need to understand, is your mind is the happiest when it's making progress. But if you're not showing that you're making progress, then what's going to happen is that's why you lean on your feelings, and that's why it's fickle. It's 1 minute you're crushing it, you're the man, and the next minute you don't know why you even tried, kind of the deal. And so we need to have like problems and the issues and the struggles and all that stuff, the resistance, it's coming. And that's why we want to have our morning routine set up so that we're weaponized and we're ready to rock and roll when the day starts. And that problem hits us upside the head. It doesn't derail us. It may slow us down. It may not be ideal, but we're still making progress and still moving things forward, even regardless of that. But at the same time, having something like every week, knowing that, hey, these are the things I got to get done. Like, we know that we're running an event inside of the Vitality Mill in about a week and a half. We know that we're going to have events in here in the next couple of months of Pivot Protocol and bringing guys in. And so there's a big picture and a big vision that work towards. And then daily, like you said earlier, daily we have our tasks that need to be done. Weekly, we have tasks that need to be done. Monthly, we have tasks that need to be done that's aligned with our yearly vision that we have set for ourselves. And the cool thing is like you said, is like you could set a vision that was like seemed impossible. But then when you get done with it, you like the impossible, like you overcome and get even more than the impossible, which is crazy.
Mhm.
And the other side of it is,
know what's possible.
yeah, that's the thing is, and so we start with, hey, right now, this reasonable. Let's just start with changing our behaviors and our patterns of the man that we are today, and start aligning those actions with the man that's at the peak, that's at the top of the peak there. Okay, let's just start there, and let's start waking up at a certain time. Let's start having start getting a Bible stack and taking some type of action from that. Let's shoot a couple text messages to individuals. And showing some love and appreciation there. Let's discover and declare something in our business that we can learn today. And we got these little bitty tasks that set us up to follow through. And then we start to slowly be able to build from there and go from there. So, yeah.
Yeah. We kind of reverse engineer. And I think what a lot of people do is they have a big goal. That's not the problem. And some people don't, but a lot of people do. They know, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds. But then they say that, and then they don't do anything to build a plan around that.
Mhm.
So, okay, well, if you want to lose 20 pounds, what do we need to do today to set us up for that? Not just, oh, well, I saw this fad diet on TikTok, and so I'm just going to follow that and hope that gives me the 20 pounds because it works for that person. It's like, no, how many steps are we going to get? Are we going to cook we're going to have our meals planned out for the week. How many days are we going to hit the gym? What time are we going to go to the gym? So there's all these little things that we need to do on a daily basis. And then you can start to go, okay, I told myself I want to hit 3 workouts. I've got my workouts planned. Now, did I hit my 3 workouts for the week? Did I get my 90 ounces of water every single day? So you start to have these things that you can look at a daily basis, a weekly basis, a monthly basis to help you hit that goal. But if you just have a goal and nothing built around that, you're just going to continue to chase that goal because you don't have the stepping stones to help get you there. So that's kind of what we do is we'll look at those big goals, but then we reverse engineer everything in our app to help us get to that.
Yeah. And the other side of it is like, we know we have next 4 months of like, there's 5 months that there's things that have to be done, that we have to start to get done because we don't want to be that guy that meets up at the next pivot protocol. Yeah. And didn't follow through with anything and didn't do any of the stuff that he said he was going to do. And then it's like, it's like almost a wasted year. And we get so much accomplished in 90 days that we get more done in 90 days than the majority get done in 9 months worth of time. And it's all because we're playing a game and we have a vision that we've set for ourselves that is aligned with the vision that God's put on our heart at that time. Because that's the other side of it is too, is we get in Jeremiah 33:3, where it's like, yeah, like let me see and let me build a plan that is way further than you could ever envision. And that's what, like you said earlier, is like, we don't know what's impossible and we don't know what's possible. Only God knows that. And so we lean on him and say, hey, guide us. And so, yeah, we do set a vision for it, but at the same time, it starts with just little simple pivots of little things that we need to do. And then we get to this, like now we're climbing and now we're seeing that we're making progress. And then we have a radical target that says like, okay, this would be radical for me. This past year, it was like, hey, in April, I want to run a half marathon. I want to do that in 2 hours and 30 minutes. I do it in 2 hours and 5 minutes. My mind is the happiest. Now I'm on this running thing where it's like, it's wild to me because I never started the year thinking that I was going to be like a runner. And it's just something that started with just setting some behaviors and patterns and telling Austin, hey, I want to start running a little bit more. Really? Because I didn't want to be on that damn bike all the time like you had me on. And so I'd like to start running more. And he's like, oh, really? And he's like, okay, well, let's do this. And I casted a vision of, hey, I want to compete in the high rocks at 40 plus at high level. Okay, well, running is a big piece of that. Okay. Well, then if that's the case, behaviors and patterns, let's start taking some steps on becoming a runner and starting to set ourselves up for that. And then, okay, now we're starting to do that. Now here's the half marathon. Now we're prepping for that. And the next thing you know, you're that guy, and you've built that. And that's what guys are missing is they have this internal want to. They know that they want to be a better version. They know that they're not being the version that God created them to be. And it's that rub of that stress that they're causing themselves because the knowing but the not acting. And that's the rub is I know I need to be going here, but I'm actually not doing anything. And my decision making is going the opposite direction of that. And that's that rub that you feel of just like, man, I'm just not, that's why I can show up. That's why you can show up and with confidence, because it's like an onion. We're slowly revealing more and more of ourselves until we start to become that man that God created us to be. And we, even though we got a vision on that, God's got even bigger plans for us that we don't even understand right now.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to touch on is that internal of, okay, this is what I want to do. Something that helps out being in the Gorilla Alliance is we've set our targets out and our brothers can see what our targets are. And so I think that's a big piece. And you got to create leverage. That's with us being in the spotlight and kind of leading from the front in the Gorilla Alliance. We lead from the front. We continue to put up good scores because we know everybody's watching us. We know that we said that we were going to do something. And so we got to follow through with that. And so we've created leverage by putting it out there and speaking on it. And so that's going to, make sure that we're going to follow through on those things. But a lot of guys that are listening to this right now, if they're maybe not, putting action to the things that they want to do, it's because they haven't created that leverage. It's just internal. Yeah, I want to do this. I want to do that. But if you don't have a brotherhood and you're speaking it to, a lot of times you just got to speak it, put it out there and tell somebody that you're going to do something. That creates that leverage that you need to actually go get it done. Because if I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to get it done.
Yeah. What else creates leverage is investing money on something. Like investing money of saying like, hey, like I'm going to invest in this and with a knowing that like, okay, now I'm like, okay, I got to get this done. Right. You're like,
the thing in that, man, is people look at the Vitality Mill and a Crunch Fitness or Planet Fitness, one of those big box gyms, like, man, well, I can just go to this Planet Fitness around the corner for $10 a month. Yeah. How often are you going to use that membership? It's $10. You sneeze with $10 bill. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But whenever you're investing into the Vitality Mill, like, yes, it's more valuable because of all of the things that we're delivering to you, but also you putting that money and having some skin in the game, you're going to show up. You're not just going to let us run your card for blah, blah, blah per month. But if it's $10, like, I just won't use it. A lot of people are spending $10 every single month and they haven't been to the gym in over a year.
A lot of them are just tanning in the tanning thing because they get tan for free or whatever it may be. And it's like, so, or they get their free pizza or donuts or Twinkies or whatever else that the Planet Fitness does. So anyway, that's beside the point. So that's where we're at right now is like, you're at a place where you're not the happiest that you could be because you're only tracking progress in one, maybe two areas. And just like this table standing up, it's standing up because it's got four legs. And that's what God gave us dominion over every area of our life. And we need to have direction, and we need to have something that we are a version of ourselves that we're chasing after, because this life is limited. And when I go and I'm on my deathbed, there's not going to be a question whether I'm happy with the progress I've made or not. It's going to be something that I know that I did everything that I possibly could to build the man that God created me to be. And I might not ever get to see that God, but at least I know that I gave it my all, gave it the best effort that I could. And with a lot of guys, that's where I feel like that they struggle, is because it's a knowing and not a doing. And when you know what you need to do, but you're not doing it, that's going to cause friction. That's going to cause problems, and that's going to cause you to be in a unhappy the majority of the time. So, anything else you want to add there? All right. So if it's something that you're interested in learning more about the Gorilla Method, you can shoot me a message on Instagram at seth.p.humphrey. You just shoot me a message with Gorilla and I'll get on a call with you. I'll lay it out for you on how we get there and I'll point you in the right direction from there. So for Coach Christian, Seth Humphrey, we will see you on the other side.
This is a relentless game, turning less chaos into power. This is a relentless game. I've been out grinding